start the video. This
Okay.
month's skirt strategies from Katie Snap and
Carol White.
my partner in crime and business, but not in life. And this month we're talking about your messed up perspective.
Yes.
We've started
Which
off with perspective. This is
she's
good.
got it. It's
And
Katie.
we like humor, so that's okay. This
Yeah.
fits really nicely with what we're talking about, because as women in leadership positions, influential positions, management positions, situations where we're trying to make a difference
Mhm.
and trying to have meaning, it's important that we see ourselves as capable people. It's important that we see the world around us as something that's supportive of us.
Yes.
That all goes back to your perspective of the world. So we've labeled this your messed up perspective.
Just in case
But
you
we're not
have,
saying that.
just in case you have areas of your life where you may have a little messed upness.
Yes, because we
Right.
like fixing things.
Right.
Almost as much as men like fixing things.
Almost as much.
Almost as much.
But really, what this is about is seeing through your eyes the way things really are, not the way you think they are.
Okay.
How do you say that?
We don't see things the way they are. We see things the way we are.
Right.
I was at a social situation
Mm.
where I was standing next to a guy that happened to have been recently moved into town, and I won't go into the details, but he felt like a fish out of water in the situation.
Mhm.
I don't know why. Actually, there was something around his self-image that had to do with this. And he said to me, I mean, imagine me, I've got a tattoo on my arm and I, look like I don't fit here at all. And I thought, that didn't even occur to me.
Right. You
But-
didn't notice it until he pointed it out.
Until he pointed
Right.
it out. Have you ever gone into a room where you felt like, oh my gosh, they're all looking at me that way?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
And it really doesn't.
And it all has to do with what's inside.
Right.
Because nobody in the room is passing judgment immediately. Well, they might be, depending on how you're dressed, etc. But, they're probably not. They're probably not even paying attention to you. But all of a sudden, you feel that you don't belong. And you know what? That's what happens, is you don't belong.
So you
I always
talk it into
equate
reality.
it to traveling in Europe, and I always think that I'm not going to have a good time in France because the people there are mean and blah blah blah.
France.
Well, you know what's interesting is last time I went with somebody who loved France, loved the people, and I tell
And
you
soaked
what,
it up.
we had a fabulous time because that was his perspective, and my perspective was different.
Yeah,
And
great.
yeah, it was really telling to me that I was seeing this through my own lens, and that's not the way it was at all.
Right. And it can so affect your self-confidence and therefore your behavior,
Mhm.
self-talk, how you respond. Cut it off at the pass. Manage it. Listen to it. So there's some tips we'll be sharing with you throughout the month for those of you that are subscribed members at Skirt Strategies. You'll be getting it on your Monday morning detox. We'll be talking about a different piece of this each week, just a little bit different, so that by the end of the month you're experts at it. Those of you that are free members, you'll have this video obviously too, and an audio next month, as well as a website.
Yes, and I want to mention also that this month we're going to start a book club, and it will be on the members only portion of the site. It's going to be in a forum. It'll be called something like Book Club.
We'll give it a sassy name.
We'll give it a sassy name. You know us. So this month the book is going to be Change Your Thoughts, Change Your Life by Wayne Dyer. Many of you may have read it. I've of course read it. It's a fabulous
Change
book.
your thoughts. Change
And it just, it talks about how important it is to change your perspective in life.
So another thing I'll share online with some people is a list from, kind of comes to confirmation bias. Have you heard that term? Confirmation
Confirmation
bias.
bias.
It's multisyllabic,
Oh, okay.
which is hard if you're in menopause.
It really is.
But I did it. I
Yeah,
had
you
a
did,
cheat
and
sheet
you
in
said
front of me.
syllabic too.
Syllabic.
That was good.
It's the way you say it, I think.
Yes, it is.
Consider the fact that you might be changing your roof, putting on a new roof, or you're painting your front door. Do you suddenly notice everyone's roofs and everyone else's front door?
Right.
That's confirmation bias.
Mm.
You look for what your filters are,
Mhm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
So imagine that all those things that you might be looking for, instead of something negative or everyone's out to get me, are opportunities or are compliments.
Yes.
Or are somebody looking at you in a positive, supportive way instead of looking at you like you're growing a third eye? The way you look at things. We don't see things the way they are. We see things the way We are so important. There's something in psychology. I
You
picked up
said
from
that too. Oh, you're brilliant.
I know, wait till you hear this. A checklist of cognitive distortions.
Ooh.
It comes from the psychology world. I'm not a psychologist, but I am sleeping with one. And I'm married to him too, so that's good.
That is good.
This comes from a book called The Feeling Good Handbook, and there was a companion book called Feeling Good New Mood Therapy. It's more prevalent in the psychology world, but my husband shared this with me because he knew the kind of stuff that I did. And this is really useful. It comes from a bigger list, but I've scaled it down to a list of 10 on the checklist of cognitive distortions. Things we do mentally that are kind of twisted.
We distort the world through these filters.
Exactly.
Right.
Things like all or nothing thinking. Not everything is black or white. And
Right.
if you're a black or white thinker and it's a gray
Area.
matter, if it's a gray area, you have trouble, putting a label on it.
Right.
Overgeneralization.
I do that.
Does it work for you?
It doesn't work for me.
It's a bad thing.
It's a bad thing, and it also sometimes makes me look less than smart
Oh.
because I overgeneralize about things.
I
So-
oversimplify,
Okay.
which is not on my list. It may have been on the bigger list. I
Mhm.
oversimplify because that works for me and I can manage the issue mentally if I can
If
kind of
it's
put it into a
simple.
small, simple package.
Mhm.
And people look at me like, she can't get very complex. Even though I have an engineering degree, that evidently doesn't help me. Mental filter. You dwell on the negatives and ignore the positives.
Mhm.
So things like that. I won't go into the whole list, but I'll be sharing it with those of you that are getting the Monday morning detox. Should statements, emotional reasoning. I did something stupid, therefore I must be an idiot person.
There's something called ANTS too, which I think is interesting. It's automatic.
ANTS?
Yes, automatic negative thoughts, and that's when just automatically something negative will come to mind, and you really need to recognize that in yourself and stop it in its tracks because it is your filter. Automatically you say I'm an idiot.
Yeah.
When something comes
Yeah.
up for you and you say I'm an idiot, that was not a smart thing to do or whatever. It's
Sometimes-
blaming.
Sometimes don't you think that what's that called?
Automatic negative thoughts.
No. When self-deprecating.
Oh yeah.
A self-deprecating thought sometimes gets you closer to the people around you. See, I can't think of words nowadays. Don't.
It's okay. Menopause is fun in
Endears
many
you.
ways.
Don't
Okay.
you think that self-deprecating sometimes endears you to the people around you?
Yeah.
But it can go too far.
It can, and I think as long as people don't believe you believe that about yourself,
Right. That you're just
then,
kind of joking.
yeah, then you can have fun with it, and people have fun with that. The minute they think you're really serious, I think they
Yes.
you
They
know,
think, loser.
right.
Fail. All right, that's enough for this week.
Oh.
For the whole month.
Yeah. Oh, and I want to mention the Skirt Strategies
Webinar.
webinar we're having at the end of the month, July 28th. Join us.
So this video is originally broadcast in early July of 2011. If you're watching it anytime near that, it's good forever. But
It will be
early on,
online
you're
forever. they say.
finding out that the webinar later on in the month we'll be talking about women's leadership situations nationally and globally and what it means to us and some of the trends.
Mhm.
It's
going to be
I
fascinating.
think
Really, we've done a lot of research around this, and it's kind of giving you that research. For those of you who are members, you will get this for free, and you just need to sign up. For those of you that are not members, it's the high price of $27.
good.
And, it's really going to be worth it just to hear how women's leadership is going in this day and age and where we're at, where we've come, how far we've come, and how far we have to go.
Okay.
All right.
Should we leave it at that?
Yes.
We just love spending time with you
We
people.
do.
Visit us at the website skirtstrategies.com. We've got a Facebook fan page, Skirt Strategies. Shocker there. And tweeting and stuff like that. Okay?
You do.
Okay,
Yes.
we will.
Okay.
Talk to you next month about a whole new topic. Take care.
Hot flash. Bye-bye.